Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to take a deep dive into how to get a Docker application up and running on AWS using Elastic Container Service. We will start by examining the architecture needed for the successful deployment. We will cover everything from setting up VPC to configuring internet gateway that connects your VPC to the internet. We will go through the role of security groups in safeguarding your resources and significance of application load balancer in distributing incoming traffic. Next, we will discuss the importance of Amazon Route 53 service for routing users to your application, how AWS Certificate Manager can help secure your site with SSL and TLS certificate. We will also touch upon AWS Web Application Firewall WAF to protect our app from common web exploit. Then we'll move to the core of our deployment process, setting up ECS cluster, configuring ECS task definition to run our Docker containers. I will guide you through the creating of repo on Elastic Container Registry, where we will store our Docker images. And throughout this video, we will reference the specific AWS resources shown in the architecture diagram, making it easier for you to follow along and understand each step of the context of the overall deployment process. So by the end of this tutorial, you should be able to deploy this website on my screen end to end. So whether you are a seasoned veteran or just getting started with the cloud computing and containerization, this guide is designed to provide you with the practical knowledge needed to successfully deploy Docker application on AWS. Stay tuned as we explore step-by-step guide on how to harness the power of AWS for your Docker application. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss when I upload similar videos on my channel. With that, let's go into my AWS console and start the tutorial. So we are now on my AWS console, but for this video, I won't set up a VPC since I already have a VPC video on my channel that shows a step-by-step guide to creating one. So link to creating a VPC is in the description below. But what I will do is I will show you the VPC we are going to use for this video. So let me click on VPC, and if you don't have the VPC on your console home, you can just type into the search bar and type in VPC. So you click on VPC. So on the VPC dashboard, I can actually filter with the VPC we are going to use, which will be this YT demo VPC. So when I filter with it, so I can go to VPC and it's going to show this particular one. So when I click on it, also in this place resource map, so I will click on the resource map, and in the resource map it's going to give you an overview of the VPC we are using. So let me scroll to the other side so you can see everything. And this is the VPC, which is the YT demo VPC. And in the YT demo VPC, we have 4 subnets, in which we have 2 in the US East 1A, and we have the other 2 in the US East 1B. So and our subnets, which is the public subnet AZ1 and public subnet AZ2, is attached to this YT demo internet gateway, and private subnet AZ1 is attached to this NAT gateway AZ1, and the YT demo private subnet AZ2 is attached to this NAT gateway AZ2. And the reason why we are having this is because we want our subnets to have internet access. That's why we are attaching this internet gateway to the public subnet and the NAT gateway to the private subnet, and for security purpose as well. So it's already taking that out of the way. Next we are going to do is to create our security groups. So we'll go to the left, so we'll go to the right hand side, we scroll down, and under security in this place we are going to click on security groups. So we are going to click on security groups, and for this tutorial we are going to create security groups. So let me go back to the presentation and show you how the security group is going to work. So in this place you can see we have the security group, which is the application load balancer security group, which is going to allow HTTP traffic from port 80 and HTTPS on port 443, and that will be from anywhere on the internet. We are going to have our Fargate, which will be in the private subnet, and it's going to allow HTTP traffic on port 80 and HTTPS from port 443, and the traffic sources will be from the application load balancer security group. And we are going to have SSH security group, in which we are going to attach to our setup server, and the traffic will be from port 22, and that will be from my IP. And this setup server is where we are going to set up, test our script, build our Docker image, and push to ECR. So let me go back to the console and create the security groups. So in the left top corner here, we click on create security group, and for the first security group is going to be the application load balancer security. We are going to give YT demo ALB. We can say description will be application load balancer SG. Okay, sorry, application load balancer security group. So the VPC will be the YT VPC, which is this, and we'll scroll down, and for the inbound rule we are going to click add rule. The first will be HTTP. We'll scroll down to HTTP, and that will be from anywhere, so that will be anywhere IPv4. So I'm going to create the second inbound rule, so I'll click on add rule. So that will be from HTTPS, which is 443. So this is HTTPS, and that will be from anywhere IPv4 as well. So after creating this, we'll leave the outbound rule as default. We'll scroll down, and we're going to add tag in this place. I'll go back and copy YT demo ALB. So for the tag will be name, and I will put in this, and I will create security group. So the first security group is created, so I'll go back to it. So you can see we have the YT demo ALB. So the second will be Fargate, which is, we'll click on create security group again. So we'll type in, so Fargate is our web server, so we can say YT demo web server SG. So that will be the description, will be Fargate security group, and the VPC will be the same VPC, which is YT demo VPC, and we are going to create the inbound rule. So we'll click on add rule. So on the add rule, we are going to select HTTP, and it is going to come from the application security group, application load balancer security group. Scroll down, this is the YT demo ALB. We'll click on add rule again. We are going to add the HTTPS as well. So we'll scroll down to HTTPS, which is this, and that will be from the application load balancer security group as well. So after doing that, we'll scroll down. For the outbound, we'll leave it as default. We scroll down. For the tag again, we click on tag, we type in name, go back, copy the name to be this, and paste it there. So we've created, and we'll click on create security group. So the last security group will be the SSH security group. So we'll go back to security groups. We'll click on create security groups, and that will be YT demo SSH SG. So that will be the SSH SG. So we'll copy. For the VPC, it will be YT demo VPC. We'll scroll down. For the inbound rule, I'll add click, and I'll put in SSH, and I will put in my IP. So I'll put in my IP. So after doing that, I'll leave everything as default again, and click on create security groups. So we can check our security group, which is this, and all the security groups we need for this tutorial is complete. So let me just copy these and add it to this place. Okay, so save, and that's also. So the next we are going to do is to create the IAM access and the credentials we need. So we go into the search panel again, and we type in IAM. So it's going to load and bring IAM. So we click on IAM. On the IAM dashboard, on the right hand side, you go to rows, you click on rows, and we are going to create a row for our EC2 instance, which is the setup server, to be able to have access to our ECR on AWS. So I'll click on create row. The AWS service, the trusted entity will be AWS service. I will scroll down, service or use case, I will click on it, and I will select EC2, and I will scroll down and go to next. So on the next page, this is where we are going to search for the permission that is needed. So in this page, in the search here, we are going to type in Amazon. So we scroll down, Amazon E. So you can see Amazon E. So in this, we are going to click on this Amazon EC2 Container Registry full access. We'll click on it. So after clicking on it, we scroll down. That's all the permissions we need. We'll click on next. And we're going to give it a name. So the real name will be YT ECR. That will be YT Demo ECR Access. Everything, we leave it as default. So we scroll down and we decide to give it a new tag, which will be name. Let's copy the name. That will be this. Put in there. We scroll down, we click on create role. So the role is going to create, and you can search for the role in this place. YT. You can see we have the YT Demo ECR. So after creating it, the next we're going to do is go to our EC2 dashboard and create the setup server and start with the installation BW Docker file and push everything. So going back to the search panel, we type in EC2. It's going to load, and we're going to double click on EC2 as well. So it's going to take us to the EC2 dashboard. So on the EC2 dashboard, we're going to click on instance running. Click on it. So we look on instance running. So on the instance running, we go to the left hand side and click on launch instance. So for the launch instance, we're going to give it setup. We'll give it YT Demo Setup. Sorry, YT Demo Setup Server. We scroll down. We're going to choose Amazon Linux. We scroll down. We're going to leave it on T2 Micro, which is the free tier eligible. For the keeper login, we're going to select this keeper login, which is YT. I already discussed how to create a keeper in the previous video, so you can check out my other videos as well. So I'll click on it. So I'll scroll down. For the security, I'll just click on edit. I will select the YT demo VPC we created. And for this, it's going to be in the public subnet, which is public subnet is the one. Auto assign public IP, will leave it to enable. And for the security group, we are going to click on security group. We are going to scroll down and select the SSH security group, which is this. And we are going to scroll down. And before launching the instance, we'll click on advanced details. And this is where we are going to attach our IAM policy we created. We are going to select, the YT demo ECR access. And after doing all this, we leave everything as default, and we'll go back to the left hand side and click on launch instance. So we'll click on this. and it's going to take the instance some, let me say, few minutes to actually pass the status check to be 212. So after it has passed the status check, we are going to continue with the video. And now you can see that our YT demo setup server has actually passed the status check. So the next thing we are going to do now is to SSH into this setup server and do our installations. And after installations has been completed, we are going to put all the steps we took to actually install our website in Docker file, and we'll build the Docker file push to itself. So first what I'm going to do is to mark this, go to connect. So on scroll down, go to SSH client. You can just copy this, and the next one, after copying this, we'll go to desktop, your local system, and we'll type in PowerShell. So I'm using PowerShell to actually SSH into this instance. So I'll click on it. So I'm on my PowerShell terminal. So the next thing I will do is to actually go to the folder where I saved my keeper. So I saved my keeper in the downloads folder. So I will change my directory to the downloads folder. So I will enter. After changing my directory to the downloads folder, so I will paste in the command I copied from the AWS console. I'll copy it, sorry. Then I'll press enter. Okay, it's taking some minutes to load. So I will, okay, I think something is wrong with my, let me just go back to my security groups. So I'll go back to my security groups. Sorry, then I'll go to security and I'll click on this YT demo SSH. That should be something related to my, so I'll go in there. I'll edit the inbound row. I'll select my IP again. I'm going to save. I think my IP extent, that was the reason. So after doing that, I'll go back to the terminal and actually paste in the command again, and we should be able to, as you can see now. So if you're having that kind of trouble, just make sure you check your security groups to be sure that you can actually SSH from your IP. So I will type in yes, and you can see we are already in the Amazon Linux 2023 setup server. So the next thing I'm going to do is to actually do the installation. So I already have the installations on my installation script on my GitHub account. So I'll go to my GitHub account so that you can actually use it as well when you are ready to work on this tutorial. So go to GitHub. So I'll click on repo and I'll click on this YT tutorial. Okay, so YT tutorial. Sorry, I think my network is slow, bro. So I'll click on the installation. So you find all the script in this installation script. I'll click on it. I'll double click on it. sorry. Okay, so for the, I'll go to script and I'll click on scripts. So this is the script we're going to use. So the first thing we're going to do, so I will give the explanation as we use the script one by one. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go to the root, like to give your, so the first thing I'm going to do is to use sudo, which are going to, let me clear this, so we can have a better screen. So clear, so I will type in sudo, so we are going to give it root permission. So you can see we are on the root permission. So the next I'm going to do is to update our instance. So I will, since we're already, so I'll just type in yum install update -y. You can see it said is up to, okay, that should be, sorry, that should be yum install yum update -y. So he said our dependencies is correct. So the next we are going to do is to yum install the Apache service we are going to use. So we are going to yum install httpd-y. So I'm installing the Apache service. So after doing that, we'll change our directory to the Apache service, which is cd/var/ww/html folder. So after, so since we're in the HTML folder, so the next thing we are going to do now is to go back to our script and copy this. So we'll copy this. Sorry, that should be scripts. We'll copy this. Copy it from here. Copy. Go back to our terminal and paste it in. So we're going to type in enter, and you can see when we type in ls, we can see this main zip. So what we are going to do is copy this again, unzip it. We're going to copy, we're going to unzip it. So we type in enter. You can see when we type in ls, you can see this particular fit app website. And so we actually, there is a zip folder inside it again. So we'll copy this and we'll paste it in. We'll type in yes. So when we type in ls, we're going to see our web file. So this is our web file that we need. The next we're going to do is remove the main fit app and the YouTube git. So we'll do this, copy this and type in this space, and we can copy this yt git as well and remove everything. So when we type in ls, so we are left with our web files and the other dependencies for it to work. So after doing that, we are going to start the httpd service again. So we type in system. So we're already in the root. So we already have the root permission, so we don't need to add sudo to it. So we just type in systemctl enable httpd, and we'll start it systemctl enable system start httpd. So since we've done this, we can actually copy the IP of our EC2 instance and check if our website is up and running. So let's go to the dashboard. We'll come to this place. We'll go back to EC2. We type in instance launch. Then we can copy this IP now, this public IP. So the reason why we are not able to actually go see our website is because of the security group as well. So let's go back to the security group and allow, if you remember when we were creating the security, we really allowed SSH security. So we are going to allow HTTP traffic on it, so we can actually view our website. So let's go back to the security. We'll click on security demo YT and editing boundary. So for this again, you can see for the HTTP is this. So we're actually going to, I'll put in my IP again because you just need to come from my IP. So I'll click on save. And when I go back to this and reload it, you should be able to view our website. You can see instantly. So this is our website and our app is up and running, and we can access it by the IP address of our EC2 instance. So since we are sure our website is up and running, the next we are going to do is to actually put in all the steps we took to actually deploy this website in a Docker file, and we are going to use Docker to actually build it. And after we complete building the image, we'll push it to ECR. So let's go back to my terminal and do that. So I'll go back to the terminal. So I can leave it in this. So the next we're going to do is to install Docker. So let's install Docker on the system. So that will be, so we already have the root permission. So we saw yum install Docker minus y. So we're already installing Docker. So it's going to take a while for it to download completely. Since we are sure that our Docker is now installed, so we are going to enable Docker and start the Docker daemon. So we type in, that will be system ctl enable Docker, and we are going to system ctl start Docker. So we can now check the version of our Docker, which is Docker version. And you can see we have the Docker version 24.0.5. So after doing that, next we are going to do is to create the Docker file we want. So we can say vi, so we're going to use the vi editor, which is Vim. So I'll just give it a name, which will be Docker file, and I'll press enter. So it's going to take us to the vim editor. So the next we're going to do, I already have the Docker installation on the GitHub page. So I'll go back to the script and I'll go back to Docker. So you can actually find this Docker script and everything in this folder, in which I'm going to link to the description below. So I'll copy everything here, copy it, go back to this and paste it in. And you can see we actually used Amazon Linux to do the installation. That's why I said we want it from Amazon Linux 2023. And this is all the steps we took to actually install our website. So after doing that, the next one I'm going to do is exit out of this place. So I'll exit out, and when I type in ls, you can see I have the Docker file in this place, so we can build it. So we are going to build it. So that will be Docker build minus t, which is tag. We are going to give it yt demo app. Let's give it like that. And you can see our image is already being built by Docker. So I'm going to wait for Docker to complete the image. And after this is done, the next thing we are going to do is to create our repo and push the image to AWS ECS. And as you can see, our image has been completed. So we can check it by typing in docker image ls. So you can see we have the YT demo app, which is 11 seconds ago, and the size is 283 megabytes. So after doing the next thing we're going to do is to create a repo on ECR. So I already have the command to do that in the GitHub page. So I'll go back to command, and in this place you are going to, so the first thing I'm going to do is to configure our AWS login. So let's verify that we already have AWS CLI installed on this. So we're going to type in AWS version, and you can see we already have the AWS CLI. So next we're going to do is to log into, it's going to log into my AWS account. So I will type in AWS configure. So when you type in this, it's going to ask for an access key ID. So I will do that, and after completing the access key ID, it's going to ask for the secret key, and I'm going to paste it in. So after I've done that, then we will continue with the tutorial. So now the next thing for me to do is to, since I already logged into my AWS account, next for me is to create the ECR. So we are going to type in I already have the command on this place, so we'll go back to this place and I'll go back to my GitHub. Sorry, and I'll go back to my GitHub and I will copy this. This command is going to create the ECR repo we need. So I'll go back here, paste it in, and I'm going to edit. So we'll give it YT demo repo. Let's put it like that. Let's put in dash so that everything will be visually appealing. So after doing that, I'm going to type in enter, and you can see the repo has been created. So we can go back to AWS to confirm. So I'll go back to this, type in ECR, so you can see we already have the YT demo repo which I just created now. So we'll go back to the terminal. So after going back to that, next what we're going to do is to log in into ECR with Docker, so we can actually retag the image we have built and push it to AWS. So I'll go back to the script on, so I'll do this, copy this. We're going to change some things from it, so I'll go back. So make sure that when you create the repo, don't clear the terminal, so paste it in. So we are going to edit this, so I'll delete this first. I'll delete up to the AWS account and the other sign in front of it. So I will paste in this one, which is this from this place. This is what we need. So it's already done. We're going to change the region as well. So the region, should be US East 1. So I will type in US East 1 and I will type, you can see it shows login succeeded. So the next we're now going to do now is to retag our Docker image. So if we can check our Docker image again, Docker image ls. You see we still have the YT demo app. So we are going to rename the Docker image to the name of our repo URI, which is this one here. So I'm going to rename our Docker image to this name, so we'll be able to push it to ECR. So I will just type in Docker tag YT demo app, and we're going to tag it to this, which is this. So when we do that, I'll press enter. When we type in Docker image ls again, Docker image ls, we should be able to see our image we just retag to this URI name. So the next one we're now going to do now is to push our Docker image to AWS ECR. So I will do that by doing docker push and the name of the URI, which is the Amazon repo URI, which is this. Type in, and you can see it's already pushing. It's already pushing. So when this is completed, we'll go to ECS Container Registry and confirm if everything is there. So after then we'll move on with the tutorial. You can see it says latest digest, so the image has been pushed to ECS. So let's go to Elastic Container Registry. So this is the container registry, so we'll click on it. And you can see we already have the image in this way, which is tagged as the test. So this is the image. So since we are done with this part, the next we are going to do is now to get up with the deployment and deploy this app in AWS ECS. So we are done with it. So I will move on to the next step of the tutorial, which is to create the application load balancer. So on the search console here, I will type in EC2. So I'll click on EC2. On the right hand side, I will scroll down and go to the section where it shows load balancing. So the first thing I will create is the target groups. So I'll click on target groups. So I'll create target groups. I'll click on create target group. So on the target group page, when it shows basic configuration, choose a target type. So for the target type, I'm going to click on IP address because we are using ECS. So it's going to map our target group to the ECS IP. So I will scroll down. For the target grouping, I'll give it YT demo TG, which stands for target group. I will scroll down. I will leave the protocol to default. And for the VPC, I'm going to choose the VPC we created, which is YT demo VPC. I will scroll down. For the head check, I will leave it like that. So I'll click on next. So on the next, it's going to show us the configurations we have. So I will scroll down. I will leave it everything as default, and I will scroll down. I will click on create target group. Since the target group has been created, so the next thing I will do is go to the right hand side again and look for load balancing and click on load balancer. So I'll click on load balancer. And I'll click on create load balancer. So on the load balancer type, I will click on application load balancer. So I will select that and click on create. So for the basic configuration, I'll give it a name. That will be YT demo ALB. I will scroll down. That will be internet facing. The IP address type will be IPv4. I will scroll down. For the VPC, I will click on YT demo VPC. That was the VPC we created earlier. And for the mapping, I will take USS to 1A and I will select the public subnet in it, which is YT demo public subnet. I will select the USS to 1B for the availability zone again, and I will select the demo public subnet AZ2. So for the security group, we are going to deselect this and we are going to select the YT demo ALB we created earlier. So I will select that and I will go to this. And for the listeners and routing, I'll click on the YT demo TG we create, which is the target group. I will scroll down. For the load balancer tag, I will leave it at optional. And for the AWS web application firewall, I will click on include WAF security. I will leave everything as default. And I will scroll down. And I'll click on create load balancer. So our load balancer is on the provisioning status. So when it is complete, I'll actually go show you the application load balancer. I will continue with the tutorial again. The application load balancer is active. And since the application load balancer is active, the next we are going to go is go to our search panel and type in ECS. So that will be Elastic ECS. So that will be Elastic Container Service. So I'll click on it. So when we get to this home page, the first thing we're going to do is to create our cluster. So I'll create a cluster. So it's loading. Okay. So I'll click on create cluster. And for the cluster, we're going to give it YT demo cluster. So I'll leave it. And for the infrastructure, we are going to use AWS Fargate, which is serverless. So I will scroll down. I will leave everything as default, and I'm going to create it. So while the cluster is being created, I'll go to the task definitions. So I'll click on task definition. We are going to create the task definition. So we are going to click on create that task definition. So I'll click on create a new task definition. So for the task definition, I'll give it YT demo TD. I will scroll down. The infrastructure requirement will be AWS Fargate. We'll scroll down. For the CPU and memory, I will leave it at 1 vCPU, and I will take, for the memory to be 2. So 2 GB. So I will scroll down. For the task row, I will leave it as ECS task execution row. So it's going to, and you can see, said the task execution row is used by the container agent to make AWS API request on your behalf. If you don't already have the task execution row created, we create one for you. So you can just leave it as there. And for the, I'm going to type in, let's give the name. So let's give YT demo. Let's give YT demo container. For the image, I will go back to ECR. So we'll go back. So I'll open it another tab and copy the image URI. So always in the search box, it's still loading. So I'll click on, sorry, my internet is kind of slow, so I'll click on ECR. Okay. So I'll click on the demo. And I'll copy the URI. So I'll go back to the task definition and I'll paste it in this place. I'll paste it in and I'll scroll down. I'll leave everything as default here. Scroll down, and I'll click on create. So the task definition is being created. As it's being created, so the next thing we are going to do is go back to the cluster, because the cluster will be active now. And you can see the cluster is now active, so we'll click on it to create the service we need. So in this place, I'll click on create service. I'll scroll down. I'll leave everything as default in this place. Scroll down. And when it comes to this, for the family, I'll click on YT demo TD. It's going to, the revision will be 1 latest. So I'll give it a name. That will be YT demo. That will be YT demo SVC. I'll scroll down. I'll leave it ready. The desired task will be, let's put it into 2. I'll scroll down. For the networking, we're going to select our VPC. So I'll click on YT demo VPC. So we want our ECS to be in the private subnet. So we'll unmark the public subnets. So we are left with the YT demo private subnet is the 1 and YT demo private subnet is the 2. For the security, we are going to choose existing security. So we'll unmark this and we're going to attach the one we created earlier in the video as well, which is the YT demo web server SG. After doing that, so for the public IP, we are going to turn it off because don't want our ECS tags to have a public IP since it is in private. Since it is in the private subnet. So for the load balancer, I'll click on this. I will select the application load balancer. Use existing load balancer. I'll select the one we created, YT demo ALB. I will scroll down. For the existing, we'll choose existing listener, which is the one we create, which is 80. And we're going to use existing target group as well. So I'm going to select the one we create, which is this. And for the service auto scaling, we'll come to this place and we are going to use service auto scaling. And we're going to put it to minimum desired task will be 2, and we're going to leave it at 4. So we're going to scroll down. Target tracking, we're going to give it YT demo ASG. So for the ECS metric, we are going to use it to CPU utilization. We'll just give it like the 70. We're going to leave it to 300. We're just going to leave it at default 300. So after that, we're going to create So we are going to wait for the cluster to be running, and when it is running, we are going to check it on the web browser. We'll scroll down and you can see the YT demo SVC is now active. So since it is active, so we'll go back and check with our application load balancer. So let's type in and go back to our EC2. So I'll type in EC2 into the search console again. I'll click on EC2. So on the left hand side, I will go back and go to the load balancing, and I'm going to click on load balancers. Okay, load balancer. And we are going to copy the DNS name of the load balancer. So I will copy this and go to my browser terminal again, and I'm going to paste it in. I will type in enter. So you can see our website is now live, and we can actually check our website via the application load balancer DNS name. So since we are sure our ECS task and ECS service is now running, what we are going to do is to allow HTTPS service from our application load balancer. So I will go back to the load balancer, and in this place we are going to request for a certificate on ACM. But for this tutorial, I won't create a certificate from scratch because I already have one, but I just want to show you. So I'll go back to, I will type in ACM. I'll click on certificate manager. So you can see I already have a certificate for my domain, which is belloaffice.com. So since we already have that one, so I'll go back to the application load balancer. So I'll type in EC2 again, EC2, and I'll modify the application load balancer so as to route traffic from HTTP to HTTPS. So I'll scroll down and I'll go back to load balancer. I'll click on load balancer. It's loading. It's loading. I don't know why it's okay, so it's back. So I'll click on listeners and rule. So the first is I'm going to add a listener, which will be the 443. So HTTPS, which will be from 443. For to target group, I'm going to select the target group created, which is this. We can turn on group sticky level. So we'll leave it as default. Certificate source will be from ACM. I'm going to select the one which is this from belooffice.com. So I will leave everything as default taken, and I'm going to click on add. So we've added our 443 listener. So we're going to modify the HTTP, which is on port 80, to actually redirect traffic to the 443. So for that, I'm going to click on actions, edit listener, and I will scroll down and I'll click on redirect to URL. So that will be HTTPS, and I will type in 443, and I will leave everything as default, and I'm going to click on save changes. Since we are sure that the traffic coming from port 80 will be redirected to 443, so we'll go to the route 53. I will type in route 53 and I'll click on it. So we are going to map the application load balancer we created to the DNS name. So we're going to create a record in the DNS name. So I'll click on hosted zone. So I'll click on this. I'll click OK. So for these, let me just delete this one. So let's create a record. So I click on created records. So for this, I'll just type in www. I'll click on, I'll toggle the alias, I'll toggle it on. So I'll click on application load balancer. The region is US East. So I'll scroll down and search for US. So which is US East, which is US East North Virginia. And I'll choose the application, which is this one. And we'll leave everything as well. I'm going to create a record. So since we've created the record, we are going to copy the record name, and let's see if our website is available again on the domain name. So you can see our application is now available on www.belooffice.com, and it is secured. So this is how you deploy a web app on ECS. So if you find this tutorial interesting and informative, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. So thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.